Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In case you're new here, my name is Candy and today I'm back with another interesting video. So today I'll be talking about indoor plants, and a disclaimer, I'm not a specialist, but whatever I'm going to share is from my own experience. I hope you enjoy the video. So we have indoor plants and outdoor plants. Indoor plants, they are plants that you can keep inside a house or room or office, depending on where you are, and they still thrive. They don't rely on outdoor conditions for their survival. So we have different types of indoor plants, and also remember that not all plants can be kept inside the house. Some are very toxic, so before you go ahead and look for a plant that you're going to have in your house, no matter how beautiful it looks, be very careful. Don't go causing accidents. So I have some of the tips on this small paper here. That's why you'll see me looking at it, or I'll keep on referring to the points that I have on the paper. And yeah, so let's start. The first one is concerning the soil that you're using. Once you've planted your plant, remember that it needs the basic. At least it has its needs, just like the other plants that we find them outside there. So when it comes to the soil, ensure that your soil is well moist, and we have different things that you can use to know if your soil is still moist or the water conditions of your soil. And some of these instruments, you can buy them from the supermarket. There's a supermarket that store, or shops that sell plants. They can help you. The most affordable one is whereby you place your finger on the soil directly, and you can tell. Your instinct will tell you if it's moist or it's dry, depending on how you feel. And with the other machines, I'm forgetting the name, I'll stick it somewhere. You just dip it. It has like a needle like stuff. You just dip it in the soil and it tells you the water condition in the soil. So the next point is drainage of the pots. Remember, there are plants that require drainage. There are other plants that don't require drainage. So if your plant requires drainage, ensure that the vase or the flower pot has holes underneath, to ensure that when you water the plant after it has soaked enough water, the extra water can drain out. And some of these things, that when it comes to watering, if your plant doesn't have like a basic, like a collector, a smaller collector, water collector underneath, you can do it from outside. You can take the plants outside, you water them, they drain the water from the outside. Once they are dry, you return. And when I say dry, don't mean completely dry. Once they stop draining the extra water, you return them in your house. The other one is strategic lighting and spotting. There are some plants that here they are indoor plants, but still they require a lot of sunlight from the outside. So such plants, you place them next to the windows. Others that require low light, you can place them near bathrooms, near toilets, basically away from the window, slightly away from the window. So if your plant, it's an indoor plant but requires some sunlight, more sunlight, place it almost next to the window, next to the doors, and it will thrive well. And then we have concerning the pot again, I'll talk about repotting. Know your plant. There are some plants that don't require bigger pots. There are others that require bigger pots because their roots go deep or run deep. So know your plant, and if you had gotten a smaller pot and you need to move it to a bigger pot, be very careful you don't mess with the roots. Or rather, just get where you're buying the plant, you can go with the smaller pot to the plant, and where you're buying the pot, if it's somewhere convenient, you can request them to help you repot it. So, and then there are other plants that maybe when they are young, they require a smaller pot, but as time goes by, maybe 3 months afterwards, you'll need to report them. So be on the lookout for that, because some plants will dry. You think you're either not watering well, but the issue is the pot. And then the other one is almost related to the last point, and it has to do with understanding your plant. Understand your plant. As much as they're all indoor plants, they have different needs. There are some plants that require too much sunlight, others don't require a lot of sunlight. There are some plants that require continuous watering, like an everyday watering. There are others that maybe require 2 to 3 times a week. There are some plants that we require fertilization from time to time, others they don't. So understand your plants. Remember, plants are not the same, so they'll need different attention. Whatever plant A needs is different from what plant B needs. Whatever the snake plant needs, it's different from what a monstera will need at the end of the day. We have different applications that will help you understand your plant. Others will just require you to take a photo, a clear picture of the plant, and then after loading the picture on the website, they are going to give you all the details concerning how many times your plant needs to be watered, basically the general care that your plant needs. The other point is about patience. Plants are different. So some plants will take long to thrive, others within 2 to 3 days they'll thrive. So be patient with the plant, and then sometimes you visit your friends and you're like, oh, we have the same plant, but when it's picking, yours is not picking. You start feeling disappointed. I can say it's a journey that requires patience, and do what works for you. It's good to ask for ideas. But just pick what works for you. What doesn't work for you, leave it behind and enjoy the journey. The other one is pruning. With pruning, I'm not that good with pruning, but plants that require pruning, you can ask from the experts, because pruning, I've done it once, and the only thing I know is that you have to use a sharp pair of scissors or knife, depending on what you're using to cut. Prune your plants from time to time, especially the climbing plants. If you don't want it to move to different directions, you have a specific way that you want them to grow, feel free to prune them to your liking. I'll go back to watering. Use water that doesn't have, remember to use water that doesn't have detergents inside, because that will mess with your plants, because of the chemicals that were in the disinfectant. But feel free to also try the DIYs. There are some DIYs fertilizers that we have at home. You don't have to go to the supermarkets, the agrovet, to buy some fertilizers. So we have DIY fertilizers, but remember, try what works for you. Remember, each plant is unique, so before you go there and start experimenting, don't do the different things at the same time, just one thing at a time as you observe the plant. And then lastly, remember to wipe out. Some plants grow, like for example the monstera, they grow, sometimes they grow into big leaves, and they can trap dust, which in the long run affects the growth of a plant. So remember, from time to time you can wipe the leaves gently with clean water, obviously. And another tip is where you mist. We have a plant mister. If you don't have, you can get a spray bottle. You mist your leaves. When you mist your leaves, you ensure that they also benefit from the water. It's not just the roots that need water, also the leaves require water. Some plants are very good when it comes to purifying the airs. Others, they produce, or they have nice flowers that are beautiful to look at. So just enjoy the process. In case you have any other points when it comes to care of an indoor plants, feel free to share down below. Remember to like, share and subscribe. Until next time, bye bye.